Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena. It's Kevin here for another Tuesday afternoon crypto show. I guess it's 14th of November. And my thumbnail for today is this cool AI image that Paul generated, kind of based on Galaga, the old video game Galaga. And then this is like a modern psychedelic version, I guess. But I don't know if you guys remember Galaga. But I think the Galaga spaceship's the perfect W for buying W's. So go look up that thing. But thanks, Paul, for the image. I love that. Well, Paul and Hanya send me images. I was going to use one of Hanya's bulls today, but then I opted for this guy. So anyway, yeah, trippy. I think it's cool. I like the colors. Actually, he has a bunch of images that are all kind of using these color schemes that I think are pretty cool. So fun stuff. Anyway, hey, Michael and Christian, David, welcome. Christian banging out shit tons of doubles. Hopefully I'm saying your name correctly, sir. But yeah, man, you've been banging out quite a few doubles. I think I saw you say something like 12 last week, which is cool. I think I got 5 last week, so I'm like trying to catch up with you. But anyway, it looks like I'm all rolling on YouTube and got my image up, and then I pulled up crypto bubbles and saw that, of course, altcoins are kind of pulling back today a little bit, with Bitcoin kind of running into some traffic. Unlike the stock market, which has been ripping on the whatever news, CPI, I guess, today. A dollar sort of dumped, and then the stock market's been ripping, but crypto's just kind of stalled out here. But I think this is a good example of now. So, hopefully we get a chance to buy the weekly W's. I mean, there's a shit ton of weekly W's fired in crypto. There's been plenty of altcoins popping off doubles, and then some that are still kind of lingering around these weekly W's. And I mean, sticking with our program of just trying to time an end of the year purchase, hopefully everything does just kind of slide into the end of the year, and maybe we can buy some retests of the W's. So I think it's a good idea to kind of locate the strong coins you want to buy right now. And I have a list of them that I'll look at here in a minute that are all just kind of coming down into the W breakout level. And you just kind of have to ask yourself, if you're trying to take advantage of this crypto cycle, then right now is like prime time to be paying attention. So even if you've missed this recent rally, I think the sweet spot's coming up here. Like if you're kind of going to buy into this sort of halving rally, which I am, I'm still sticking to the program of, 2023. We've been talking about it being an accumulation year this whole time. And of course, the first quarter of the year, we got nice kind of mini alt season where the same kind of thing happened. If you missed it, you just had to be patient. And then sure enough, things came back down and set up a little better, in my opinion. And then now, if you miss this recent rally, then look at all this red on the screen here and see if there's anything that you were shopping for. This is the top 100, very red. Top 200 looks the same. I mean, just a lot of red on the day. But when you go to like a month, there's a shit ton of green. Of course, some of these, like this ordinal's a big outperformer. Kuji, this thing's been ripping. I don't know what that is specifically, but Osmo, funny enough, is up quite a bit, but my average cost on Osmo is not so great. I started buying this thing last year, so I'm not really banging Osmo doubles out, but I am quietly just kind of buying it because I've talked about Osmo before. I like the platform, sort of related to Atom, and I got some of this stuff staking over there, but it's been pretty. But this also just kind of V bottom straight up rocket. Kind of hard to buy a weekly W on that one. But point being, I think it's like you got to ask yourself, do you have a trading plan that supports the idea of bullish Bitcoin halving? And if you do, then now's the time to, I mean, I suppose everything that we'd expect to happen is setting up like pretty damn well. So can look at some charts here in a second. I love this CoinGlass website I was talking about, but just popped in my head like I was thumbing through some of these charts here earlier, and Even like this, where's the rainbow? Bitcoin rainbow. I don't know the logic behind this Bitcoin rainbow chart, but it sums up. I mean, it's just a log chart of Bitcoin, but I think it's funny that even now, where Bitcoin's sitting right now, we're still in what they call fire sale prices. 35,869 is a fire sale, and prices. Well, I'm not right at the actual end of the. Yeah, price is 37 today, and then the fire sale is 36. But hopefully you can at least see this. Doesn't that look kind of like a W there, or like a logarithmic big old W? And of course, you can see what happened. The last two cycles as we dipped down into these levels and sort of had to go through the like post bear market accumulation. That's what I'd say that kind of is. Even through here, even though the last time the dead cat bounce went all the way to Mountain Man, I think like 14, 15,000 or whatever that was. Even with that wide ass range and then the COVID dump all the way down to 88.6 against the old structure, that was a really wide range, but it was still marking sort of like the accumulation part of the cycle. And like, sure enough, here we are. Like, looks like we're trying to even break out. So the only point I'm trying to make is now it's now or never. And so I suppose I'm slowly getting more, more bullish, like as time moves on a little bit. So that's cool. And so, like I said, now's the time to probably hunt pullbacks on stuff that you want to buy. And just moving on, it was CPI today, I think, right? Yeah, there was some news. Markets got pretty wild here about an hour before the New York Exchange or the New York Open. But I'll just say a couple things I wanted to just say about the DXY here really quick. Just a great example of a weekly M. Never underestimate the power of a weekly M. Also in like the dump chaser zone, I'm like talking about the DXY lately, just kind of doing this battle here in the 38.2 to 50% zone of the old highs, and the recent low has carved this range out. And just really strong kind of, or like long consolidation period through here, like on the daily chart, kind of had to just do this battle here in this tight little range that got carved out. That did, first they M'd it out, faked it out a bit, took it back up to the top of the range. But then the weekly M basically came in there, and sure enough, this is pretty normal. So it's a good example of like just that 38.2 sort of area that if, all these markets were sort of battling this, even Bitcoin's currently in the, sort of earlier in the battle, Bitcoin's like on this candle here, ripping up into the 38.2 to 50% zone. So it's like this is sort of farther along, but point being, big old weekly M that got like a Wyckoff check last week or retest of that M, and then now big dump down into 38.2 pump chaser zone of this big move here. So there's, if you thought of this as like the medium uptrend, then we're getting down into like potential sort of bottoming areas if we're going to continue it, go into a continuation pattern here and continue trending up there on the medium trend. But on the flip side, in the sort of macro trend is down, and this is getting rejected in the dump chaser zone. So suggesting that we might have to test these green box later on down the road and make a new low. So it's like macro downtrend is kind of being carved out here with this big old M here on the dump chaser zone. But we're coming into like support right here, and maybe 50% level or even Mountain Man has to be played with. But who knows where the next stop is. But point being is, if this is still sort of, if it's trying to turn up, then we probably should see some sort of W's come, over the next several weeks somewhere in here. Of course, this is going to just provide fuel for the risk on markets, and the stock market's ripped today. But I just thought that was cool. I mean, never underestimate a weekly M. That's like pretty big M in a reasonable location to look for a rollover. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe this thing turns around and starts ripping back up. Of course, like it's the middle of November now, and if we're going to have sort of any sort of tax loss selling this year, then I suppose we'd probably expect another bounce in the dollar as like things roll over deeper in the risk on markets for the next 6 weeks. So, I mean, this thing, who knows what's going to happen here. We could bounce back up, but either way, it's a pretty solid trend change, or I should at least say market structure change. Like this M marks a definite local structural top. So that's kind of cool. And then like the S&P 500 just ripped up into 78.6 of the, it's, now we have basically a range here, which is also off the pump chaser zone. In this case, ripped down, bounced off the pump chaser zone. And now we're just back at the top of the range really quickly, man. That was a pretty strong bounce here. Sort of just kind of capitulated into that support here. And then now just strong bounce, but we are at 78.6 short. So if short reload zone. So if this is a range now that kind of we might bounce around in here, it's not a huge, it wouldn't be like a stretch to think there'd be something like that. And then maybe we just have to keep going sideways here for a while, but we'll see, but they haven't quite got after the highs yet. So, but because we're in larger short reload zone off the old all-time highs, and now we're in like this kind of medium-term reload zone, it's ripping through there right now, but I'd imagine some traffic in here. We'll see what happens. But we're still in the broader uptrend here because, again, we're above the trend line now again, and just we're above 200 period moving average as well. I don't have that on here, but, just that's still, way down here. Last time tested back here. This is a weekly chart, but I think the daily bounced about right off of it. Well, that's a mess, but yeah, you can see how we're above the 200 now again. Hopefully you can see that. It's a shitty looking chart, but anyway, I don't want to get too deep into the stock market. Point being is just getting up into reload zones here. But the dollar, with the dollar rolling over, that's just fuel for this, like rocket fuel. So we'll see what happens. And the NASDAQ actually went even after the highs almost. Damn, the NASDAQ's ripping. Kind of was starting to see this sort of channel that got taken out. And we're like well past 88.6 already and basically testing the old highs. This is the ETF, QQQ. So who knows, man? Maybe by the end of the year, there'll be some rally into the new highs on the NASDAQ. That'll suck people in for sure. But point being, I guess crypto isn't really enjoying the same rally today so much. Look at Bitcoin. And really, it's still battle at 38.2, with Bitcoin. Just like the dollar seems to have resolved it bearishly, I think pretty solidly with that M. Bitcoin is just sort of starting that battle. So this is kind of like, like we've been talking about, this is sort of this move up into here, altcoins are looking pretty bullish, but it's kind of a little bit trappy in the sense that Bitcoin was just ripping up into resistance. So there's nothing, we don't know that this is going to keep going higher here. Could easily, but like it's still important to mind that this, you can just see the battle going on. I kind of like this 36,000 low, these candle body lows here that match up with 38.2 on Coinbase perfectly. I just kind of like that level is like that's 38.2 basically. Of course, remember, we're still at the head and shoulders target too, which is fascinating. Like that completed. So this major bottom here hit its target right at that level. So it's still this is just a big level. And so I don't know, just like the dollar, does it have to like bounce around for a while? I don't know. I think for altcoin bulls, it's probably best to just kind of go sideways. Me personally, I still would rather see it roll over and maybe come back down into 38.2 pump chaser zones at least, just to sort of like set that base for the altcoin rally that I'm hoping will happen next year. And that would be kind of the accumulation, even like that rainbow chart or whatever. Like maybe this is what we've basically been saying all year, right? Something like this. And then there'll be some other, kind of bottom before the halving, which would be somewhere over here. I don't know. Maybe it's lower, maybe it's higher. I'm not trying to call that per se. If anything, I would just say things are going along perfectly as planned. That's what I would kind of... it would almost be worse to see Bitcoin just rip straight up in some epic, like, panic buying. I think, especially for I want to buy more altcoins. So, like, I'd rather see this at least go sideways. We'll see what happens, though. But point being, really really the end of the story with Bitcoin is this isn't a buying location. This is a potential resistance area, depending on what happens. Any kind of M's here would probably be much like the DXY. And then, if anything, this is just kind of straight up here. You don't want to be buying into 38.2s there. So we should just be thinking of Bitcoin in sort of a precarious level that's testing the old bear market. Like if this old bear market is still a real bear market, then this could roll over here. But if that's all long and gone behind us, then hopefully it is. But we just don't know. So anyway, attention is definitely on altcoins anyway, in my opinion, for buying. Can't buy Bitcoin here, but altcoins are set up damn nice. And I think I'll just say, really, all I'll say about Ethereum is they couldn't even take out the highs. So now Ethereum it's like, are we still a range here? This is the sort of end all question, I suppose. Is this the top of the range at 2100, or are we gonna take that out? You can see how they tried to get it up there and couldn't quite. And also like no volume, by the way. Just like not a lot of volume even pushing it up there. But if this is like the range, we never quite got to 38.2. So like, does this thing roll over here? I don't know. Great example of the 38.2 to 50% level pump chaser zone resolving bullish for the moment. So I don't know. Sideways in Ethereum and Bitcoin wouldn't be the worst thing. Like not too, rolling over gently into the end of the year, but not necessarily going into all out fucking dump. The cool thing is even like a sizable dump in Bitcoin, and if like Bitcoin decided it wants to come off pretty hard, I mean, there's a lot of room for price to come down here on Ethereum and Bitcoin and still just be in this range. So it's not like, like a nice dip for Ethereum down to like the 1400 area would be like a gift for buying, I would say, if that was to happen. So just because price ended up down here, I don't think that really changes anything in terms of the accumulation kind of phase of this cycle. It's just be better buying opportunities. One last chance to get long on Ethereum. So anyway, I'll just, before I go into the altcoins, I was going to look at, maybe look at total just for a little more of a bull, some bull hopium. Because when I look at like the total market cap, it doesn't look like crypto's ready to like shit the bed here. It's just kind of grinding higher with this ABCD sort of taking us up to kind of 38.2s and up against these tails here. So it looks like the market cap can keep climbing here. Very bullish looking. I was talking about this last week too. Just a very bullish looking chart in my opinion. No real reason why this couldn't just keep grinding higher. So that's good. And then I have a bunch. So like I was saying a minute ago, I think it's like a question of going and finding the things that you want to buy on retest. Or, well, that's what I'm doing. Whatever you guys are doing, I think it's a good time to be thinking that way. Like this is like the buy the dip kind of, maybe we don't get that strong of a pullback, like I was saying here, things are coming off today a little bit, like, some things are off, not so much double digits actually, but if Bitcoin rolls over a bit here, like it kind of is at the moment, if it continues that, then maybe these become a little bit deeper of pullbacks and there's stuff to buy. And I'm kind of focused on trying to find the stronger things, which by strong, I just mean like working weekly W's in good location, mostly like, and like I have all these weekly W's in my list, but these ones I marked out in orange are just ones that like, I, think would be good to buy on pullbacks. And there are just some of them, but, I had XLM at the top because I just want to remind myself too, like I saw that XLM is like, this was one of the first solid weekly bottoms in crypto that really came in strong and already produced doubles for me. And I think the Road to Financial Freedom Plan and a bunch of members of the community, but along with XRP. But I was just, just as a reminder, if you're interested in XLM, it's kind of a dinosaur coin for sure, but I just saw that it's coming back in here. I actually did start taking nibbles here on that first dip against the wider W, I think is where it was. Yeah, like around 12 cents or something. And then I do have intentions on buying at the actual W breakout down at like 10 cents. But this thing is, as it comes down into those levels, I love the idea of buying stuff like this. It's just basically coming back against the old weekly W and basically got down against the old market bottom. I mean, to be fair, and all of these, I'll clarify, can all come off 50% if something gets ugly. It wouldn't be that unreasonable to see a lot of these things take out the current W's. Like it's just a question of whether it does or not. Like that's why you have to either step up or don't. Like this is a solid bottom that's kind of been put in these things, but it doesn't mean it'll hold. And of course, all of them will fail at the same time. But if you don't step up, then you might miss a potential bounce that's likely to happen. But then the flip side is maybe these lows get taken out and we have to set up a whole new weekly W situation next year. We don't know that yet, but either way, I like the idea of buying. This is a total dino coin, like I said, but I'm going to be buying it as it comes down into these levels here. And like my, typical strategies, just kind of, I like to hit like 61.8, 78.6 and 88.6 kind of levels. It's already getting into the reload zone here. It's right about Mountain Man right now. Like I said, I already took one nibble quite a while back. But so I kind of have a couple of the bigger coins at the top of this list that are just, I don't know, bigger market cap a little bit. But that was just one I wanted to remind everybody about. So we've been following it all year. And people that did get doubles might be interested in buying back. I know I am. But the main takeaway is just, I love, hopefully you can just see this this is why it's like, I don't know, this is the chart you look for. I mean, even if you just kind of imagine the same scenario back here where there wasn't even that great a location, but you could see the W's kind of coming in. And, we're getting damn near that kind of behavior. So that's so hilarious because I just looked at my phone and I got some Coinbase alert that XLM's down 13%. Not down 13% on TradingView. They must have a different time. Anyway. DMAX saying, I saw him plan there's some double made or more, but not sold half. I have to check with Miku on that. Miku's I assume you're talking about the Road to Financial Freedom plan. Maybe we have some doubles that aren't booked. I mean, they might not be booked here. I'll check in with Miko for Sunday. But in our plan, we should be, if anything doubles, we should be taking half, sell half on a double. So I don't know. I'll double check that, DMAC. I don't know actually. Of course, the Road to Financial Freedom plan has a lot of Binance stuff, so it's kind of, for me, it's a little trickier to. I'm just still implementing my plan, which is very similar. I think I got one double so far this week on this. This one was one of the small caps. Well, I'll get in that in a minute because I want to start with these bigger ones, and then I'll talk about some small caps here. So anyway, hopefully you get the point about XLM. Just remember that there is a solid week. So this would be an example of a solid weekly W with price coming back down against it. I'm interested in those kind of things. And like my next one on the list is Zen. I've been talking about a lot lately, but it's pulling back right into that sort of bigger W. So I don't know about chasing it right there. I mean, I don't really have a problem with that, but I also think you could draw fibs and hunt lower. But this would just be an example of a nice wide W against the old W. I mean, this one, I love Zen. I don't I guess I'm a Zen shill. I don't know. I'm not saying it's the best crypto or anything. I just like it. I feel comfortable with it because I have traded it a long time, but I also, it checks a lot of boxes for me. And this chart alone is just perfect. I mean, it's fully tested the old W bottom. It's got plenty of upside. And now we have this really wide W bottom here working with an OBV divergence that actually confirmed back in this area. The OBV div has just been trending higher for quite a while as we, put in this base. So like, to me, I mean, it's probably sensible to just draw fibs and hunt better levels. I don't think you necessarily have to. You can see it checked it though. Are we going to bounce right off here? I wouldn't be surprised at all. It just kind of depends what the whole market does. But truthfully, probably hunting down around like $8, $8.50 in this area down against this little W is probably the kind of end of the year dump that we'd be hoping for. Like if we can get any kind of dump into the end of the year against previous structure levels, that's like the buy opportunity. That might end up being the last one. I don't know. Just trying to put a fire under your ass. Like you got to either step up or not. I don't know what to say about that. Otherwise, it's just kind of like, if you want to do it. So this is another good example of a solid bottom, I'd say. So I love Zen. And then Filecoin's a little farther away, but same kind of idea. So like Filecoin's another one that's just all the way down against the old lows, has tons of upside. I mean, just massive upside, truthfully. Well, at least 10xers back to like things like 38.2s of the entire range. But I mean, this one's a little uglier, to be fair. The weekly W is actually way down in there, kind of cheeky. But you can just, they're testing the lows fully. It's explored pretty much the entire lows of the last cycle. And now if you zoom in, I mean, we do have this big W, which is kind of ugly. And then this is also like an Adam and Eve pattern, it looks like to me, sort of cycle bottom kind of looking thing. But there's also this little W down in here, and the breakout's way down at 350. So like, I mean, it's got a lot to pull back, but I still think this would be another one that I would, I mean, I personally have already, you can see these, well, my average cost is basically at 78.6. I bought these 3 levels here as price was dumping down into it. And I haven't banged a double out here. Maybe it still gives me one before this rolls over. I don't know. But either way, if you weren't long, I mean, this, Filecoin's pretty well established crypto, I would say. I don't know. Without getting into too much FA about it, I don't really know. I just like the idea of, same thing, drawing some fibs here. I mean, the reload zone, technically we're in the reload zone of this entire range here off of the sort of FTX low, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so there's another one. Definitely like the idea of working bids as this thing pulls back. So yeah, anyway, those are 3 like sort of bigger names, I guess. And I'll just bang out these really quick. I want to look at all these really quick because a lot of these are buyable, in my opinion. Unfortunately, ASTR is not just quite yet buyable. I missed this one already. But I do want to buy it, and I kind of like this 5 cent level. It's kind of a little too far gone, unfortunately. Not quite buyable right here, obviously, but it's just, I don't know about, this is Coinbase, probably more info somewhere else, but nice strong wide, now we have this wide W in, which I really like, and we're technically checking that. You can see we've sort of found support against the W breakout level, but that's too far. I don't want to chase it up there. But I definitely want to buy this one, 61.8 and below, basically. So 53 and below. Basically this green line there, that's the original, or not the original, but the last kind of little W breakout there, which is kind of why I'm annoyed with this, because I wanted to buy that right there. And sure, I would have had to hold it for a while, but I remember I just didn't get it together enough to get this one. But man, that's one I've missed. And of course it's up like 8% on the day, whereas most stuff's red. So I don't know. This is kind of an outlier right now, a little bit strong. But then get into these, the rest of these are more, well, not all of them. Some of them are more buyable, like this comp. Paul was telling me about this one a couple of days ago. And I went and bought the breakout, actually. Just got filled this week, and you can see I'm chasing the reload zone just a little bit, but I'm okay with, I didn't have any. I'm okay with just starting my little buying program on this. I mean, I like that the W came in right off the reload zone of this recent range here. I mean, the range is kind of weird because they sort of FU'd this low here. A lot of these names are holding that low. Well, I suppose it's this, that's the sort of FTX low, but point being, the range got kind of disrupted by this little dip down here, but it's just, weekly W's in, OBV's pointing higher. I chased a little bit above Mountain Man, and then I'll just try to buy 78.6 and 88.6 if it wants to dip. Like, I'm totally happy to buy this if it dips to, against this like old fractal bottom. Looks like there's even maybe a gap down there. Not really, but so anyway, there's that one's a little uglier chart, but I like definitely pulling back into buying low levels. So pretty likely you could get filled down here below like $47 in the reload zone. IDEX was one that popped up today when we were talking in the New York meet, and this one's sitting right at a really nice W level. It already checked it today. I think I probably didn't get filled. Does this? maybe I don't know. Probably didn't get filled yet because, well, that was at 11:30. I probably did. I'll have to go look. But anyway, worked a bit on that when I saw it when Paul posted it earlier. But this is, I mean, fuck, this looks perfect. I mean, if crypto's going to go into, a bull here, or I should say, if crypto's going to bounce here in the next couple days, that would be a reasonable place for this thing to bounce. Maybe it still has to kind of sideways for the rest of the year. But point being, buying a W like that is totally up my alley. Like, I mean, if you drew fibs, even off here and just said, okay, well, the W level is basically below 78.6. So I've always, I always say that if I could buy a W around 78.6, I mean, that's kind of where I try to be averaged in general. I want to, I kind of want to be averaged in on this thing around 6 cents, and it's sitting below that right now. So it's sort of like I don't know, it doesn't really get any nicer. This OBV's even in divergence through there, and generally pointing higher here lately. So IDEX, I have no idea what it is. I mean, I've obviously heard of it plenty of times, but I don't know anything about it. So buy the dip. RSR I can't buy, but I still will mention it because it's for those of you that can trade on Binance. It's also coming right down against the little cheeky W, so still has a little bit of a way to go, but you can kind of see the checks coming in. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe we go ripping up by tomorrow, but like you can sort of see how they could easily just come down and check these levels and let people, give one more opportunity for the smart money to start buying back, before they potentially bounce it to higher levels. But OBV divergence is confirmed and the weekly W is confirmed, and now it's sitting at 0.0024. So it does have to get down, and not that far, 20% or so down to this breakout level, which is probably right in a reload zone if you start drawing your fibs off of that range. You could see it's we're right a little bit below Mountain Man, so somewhere in there. Like I said, I'm not trading this one, but damn if it doesn't look nice, and plenty of fucking upside. Jeez, I wish I didn't cuss so much, but it is what it is. 002. I mean, a 10xer is up in here somewhere. Is that right? Somewhere up here. Yeah, those candle body highs. You could. So I mean, hopefully you see the upside there. Paul saying IDEX was David's idea. Oh, cool. Well, David, thanks. I just heard you guys talking about it and looked and saw that I could buy it, which is a plus. That's my reason number one for taking a trade for me these days is, can I even buy it on Kraken or Coinbase? Anyways, so as usual, I'm just kind of hammering out these names, but man, I mean, this is the pullback that if you're FOMOing a week ago, then you should probably go into hunting mode now. Like Lit, I mean, some of these I've been talking about a lot lately, but Lit checked the W level today, and to be fair, that's a weird looking. This is like a Head and Shoulders-y almost. I don't know, but the W's in there, right in the middle of the reload zone with the OBV divergence, and you can see they did. I don't know if that was today, but this week they've checked that level, and could easily see lower fills. But I like the idea of I mean, I don't know. It's nibbleable worthy right here. So maybe that's one to keep in mind. And I mean, like I said, I'm buying all of these if I can. Like I can't buy that RSR. I can buy this one and already have. And then I can't buy LTO. And I'm actually not sure about BAT yet. I can't remember. But funny enough, I have Litecoin next because it's just in my list. But it's just funny to look at Litecoin and see that it also has a weekly W. It's just a little one, but it's checked that level today too. So if you're shopping for Litecoin and you had your bid working at this breakout level, which is below 61.8 in the reload zone, that's a reasonable place to be buying Litecoin, I'd say. And weekly W's in. To be fair, like, I mean, it's not like what I like to see in a bottom. Like it might have to still undergo more kind of sideways rounding out behavior. And then of course, if Litecoin really starts losing steam, then it has a lot of downside risk, but it's Litecoin. What can you do? I mean, to be fair, like, do you really want to focus on Litecoin if you're trying to? It's not my main focus by any means. I mean, it does have upside. Doubles and stuff are pretty reasonable to get on Litecoin, but I don't know if it's going to produce like. Well, it wouldn't be my main. It wouldn't be like my high reward Hail Mary bet. Like, I'm not really counting on Litecoin to solidify me as the king of crypto. But it's a W, and it made the list today. So LTO I can't buy though. This is what I was getting at. I don't think I can get this one, but man, it's sitting right at the buy level. Same thing. If you're a weekly W buyer, you could argue you're kind of chasing a little bit here. I mean, the W is kind of tall because of that wick, but like, I don't know. I mean, you're not chasing in terms of you're below 8.6 by a lot in the range. I mean, if you look at the whole range, I don't think you're chasing. The previous W has already been tested, which I like to see. Because my little alert, or it hasn't been fully tested, sorry. So we didn't actually get, this is the kind of situation where I could see buying it there and then just working a stink bid down here against the old lows here at 4.048. Or not the old lows, but the old W breakout. I bet you they hit that level if I was just going to guess somewhere down the road here. But either way, this bottom's coming in. That's a nice looking, potential bottom. It's kind of like I said, it's like these W's either work or they don't. And maybe if they don't, they have to come down. Maybe this thing, it's not what I meant to draw really, but maybe it still has to come down and test these lows a little bit more. And the actual W just comes in somewhere lower, like, just down here somewhere. That's going to be like plan B, I suppose, if these don't work. So that's why, it's, you have to sort of protect your capital and try to time your way in these things and know that you might have to, we might not get a bottom right here. It's just hard to say for sure, but we have definitely reasons to think that there might be a bottom here. And I suppose that's what makes this investing stuff it's easier in the sense that you have more time to think about it, but it's harder in this, compared to like shorter time frame trading. Like investing, you're kind of trying to time sort of like the broader market too, because either these W's are going to work or not work. I mean, it's kind of like we're in a situation now where we had some really strong things that have driven the market and they're kind of dragging things up with them. Just things like, I don't know, the ones I got doubles off on. And Soul, and I did get a double on Soul actually, but Link, the ones that really broke out hard, it's like those took off. And so then these, it's like, well, Lit didn't really take off as much. It kind of got dragged up a bit. But it's like you kind of have to decide for yourself whether or not you think there's any gas left in the tank here. And in my opinion, I'm still going to take my shot. I've already decided. I already know that I'm going to buy these W's where I can, and then protect myself in case there's still more down later here, and just kind of ease my way in. And I'm like always like, I'm more conservative, and I just sort of nibble my way in and take it slow. So anyway, that does remind me. I noticed like it is a good worth pointing out that we're getting a little overdone here. Like this has been ticking up slowly. It's at 75 now. It's Fear and Greed. I remember 2 weeks ago it was at 72. So it's just like slowly things are getting a little overextended, I'd say. So this is the pullback that we're hoping for, I'd say. Hopefully it materializes in a little bit deeper of a pullback so we can actually buy things that have been strong. But I just tried to find some that are actually right at the levels now. And this isn't a bad example of that, I don't think. Like our FXS, I mean, it's a little gone here. I managed to get averaged in right around 78.6, which again is my goal here. If I can be averaged in around 78.6 off the old range, that's like exactly where I want to be long. And so, yeah, anyway, this one, I like this one a lot. It's a little too far gone. Last week, it was the last chance, or 2 weeks ago, last week, I should say, it was the last opportunity. But you can see there's plenty of chances to buy that little. It is kind of a weird W, but it's in there. So FXS, I like that one. And just two more really quick, actually, and I'll move on. This one isn't exactly viable right here, but Siacoin is just another one that made it all the way back down against its old cycle low. And then, although there might be some more, there's probably some more lows here on Siacoin. It looks like, yeah, because that's just 2020. So there's probably more lows here. But anyway, on Binance here, it's coming back down against those lows. And, it has a W working back here that's been just sort of maintaining the lows. So this is what we'd call like a nice accumulation period, sideways channel. And you can kind of see just in the short term this week, it looks like it's running out a little bit of steam. So with any luck, I actually bought that breakout already. This one we actually talked about in the New York session during that breakout. I think those guys might have even had a swing trade on there. I don't remember specifically, but I feel like there was a VIP or a swing trade or VIP trade on that. But anyway, probably future chances to buy tests into that level again. That's kind of what I'm looking, or what I would, actually will still be looking to do, really, because I'm not, I'm willing to buy more. So anyway, this one just, they all look kind of the same. Not all of them, but the ones that I've picked, because they're the ones I'm looking for the same kind of thing in each chart. And so I've sort of, if an altcoin doesn't have at least some kind of base right now during this period, I'm not really interested in it, because that means it's probably like lagging pretty hard. Maybe later on, but I kind of expect, I've said before, like when I start seeing weekly W's in the majority of the market, that's when I'll start to think we're about to go into a, bull run or something. And it kind of seems like it's getting closer now. So I still think we're a little early, and we do have the end of the year here, like buy when it snows kind of thing going. So like, don't underestimate the it kind of feels like the sentiment might even be changing a little bit right here, getting a little bit overextended. And it's like they're setting up the pullback into the end of the year. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but sort of that's kind of been the general sort of thesis of the last year. And I think that makes sense still to me. So. And then I threw BAT on here at the last minute because I'd forgot about old BAT, and I was thinking it's funny because I love Brave browser, but I always forget about BAT. But nonetheless, it's not, it's very nice location all the way against these old lows, but and it does have like sort of a W here. It's a W. Kind of looks like Sol looked a while back. Kind of same weird kind of bottom, but either way, it broke out this kind of structure and kind of just got back up into this M here and got rejected. But I do like the idea of buying BAT as it pulls back in here too. OBV's like strong and in divergence. OBV's been strong and in divergence this whole bear market actually, and it is just kind of Wing out of late even. And there's actually like a little W down in there too. So an interesting level to hunt would probably just be that sort of breakout here, which is 1868. So anyway, those are sort of the cherry-picked ones from, not cherry-picked, but just the ones I pulled from my weekly W list that I just thought, well, that was a good number to talk about real quick. And of course, there's all these below that, I could pick any of them, and some are too far gone, but they all look pretty decent, just like Helium is one I really want to keep buying. I got one little nibble off on it, but it's the same thing. I just didn't put it on the list because it's a little far gone here, but you can see that they're maybe trying to set up. It got up against the top of the range. Maybe it gets rejected and back down into the reload zone again. And that's a nice place to be a buyer. And it's got tons of upside, this thing. Jeez. If you can buy shots, I think. I really like this SPA, though. This is one that I recently just also bought and worked, I have these bids here. Well, I have, I went ahead and just bought the breakout here on this Spirax or whatever spa. And then, also have a bid just down against the candle body low there. Did get some doubles off on this one back here. And then I had to move on to Coinbase. This is the Qcoin chart. There's a nicer chart here, but this is just, it's got like, this one's weird because it has I don't know, it's sort of like a kind of reminded me of a Luna type situation, because like, USDS, I guess, is like the Arbitrum stablecoin that this thing is the coin for or whatever. And I don't know the exact details of how the coin interacts with the stablecoin USDS, but it reminded me of like Luna in the sense that they burn it and or whatever. And so I don't want to get into that. It has like a 5 billion max supply, so huge max supply, but it's only like a 2 million market cap right now. I think I saw like so it's like a tiny market cap. I mean, yeah, or sorry, 7.7 million. It's I'm mixing it up with another coin I was going to talk about that has a 2 million supply, but point stands, 7 million market cap. That's pretty tiny. It's like 900 in the list, number 890. And I like when I look at even looking at this is the entire history. You can see the massive upside. I mean, it's at 0.004 here, and it's just a massive amount of upside if this thing can get going again. It's like, I like the. Without knowing too much about the FA here, I like this one. So there's a micro cap that I'm buying a weekly W on. And then I did get a double off on this one, which I did mention in this show a few weeks ago. Barely just nicked the top there. But I only got one fill here. This is, I mean, the way I do, I do like to nibble my way in. And in this particular case, I had drawn my reload zones and they hit Mountain Man, but then I never got. So I didn't get a full position. So what can you do? But this was just another tiny, it's like a gaming one or something. And this one's 20 million market cap, and I'm kind of hunting like 30 million and under for micro cap, I guess I'm calling it. I don't know, whatever. This one's sitting at 20 million right here after it's up a little bit off the lows. But man, this one, so I mean, if I can reload on this one, I will, but it's a little bit far gone at the moment. But you can see how, I mean, my double's down here, and there's a lot of upside on this thing. Actually, shit. It's funny, like 38.2 is at 15 cents. So like about a 10x or so up there. So that was one that's too late. But I got kind of interested in this GHST. This chart looks kind of shitty. So to be fair, like I don't see this as particularly bottomed here. And I could see it just going to new lows easily just because it's kind of like, I mean, they tried to W it here, but couldn't quite break it out. But OBV is it's in divergence off of these lows here. And, the price action's pretty thin looking to me. Like it's not trading. This is the Binance chart of it. But this is that Aavegotchi NFT game, and I don't know. I kind of liked it because it's Ghost is what I guess. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's also, I mean, that's at 43 million market cap, a little bit bigger, and it has 52 million out, and I don't know if there's more that can be issued. But I guess the fully diluted market cap's the same, so I don't know if they're issuing any more of these specifically, but it's a relatively smaller market cap coin that, let's see what like you can see the upside here, 83. I mean, not as good as like that last one. Just doubles up against the highs here, and then another double. So it's not as much upside if it can't take out the highs, but I was kind of like thumbing through the project and it just looked cool to me. So I went and took a nibble like right around here, and then I expected to go lower. So We'll see. I think waiting for a real W would be wise. I don't think this falls in the category of strong altcoins like the other ones I was showing you. So, but it is just like a smaller one that I'm interested in. And then Monavale was, this one kind of already took off, but this was one that I talked about the same time as I talked about this AOZ or AIOZ one. But I really like this project for whatever reason. It just strikes me as interesting. I don't think you can buy it here, and they popped it off and have taken it right back. I didn't get a double here yet, but it's got the OBV divergence and the big blow off so far. But this one, the cool thing about this one is there's only like 6 million of them out or something, and it's like it seems more rare. And I don't know. I feel like it's on Coinbase, so I think that's a good sign in my opinion. But it's not old. That's old Mona. Good old Mona, that's an old friend, but this is Mona Vale. And it's like 388 bucks a coin, but you can kind of see like the base coming in here. And it's just not, it's not like 100x or probably, unless it can really take off and explode here past the highs. But it's only a 4 million market cap with a max supply of 11,000 coins. It just seems like not going to be that hard to pump this thing in a bull market. They could rip it. So yeah, actually the fact it's 400 bucks a coin, I don't know, that doesn't really matter. I mean, it's only a 4 million market cap, so 10x would only take it to 40 million market cap, and there's only 11,000 of them. So I don't know. Go to the website and check it out. It's the craziest. Like, I feel like a boomer looking at. I can't even. It's like too young for me or something. I can't even understand it, but that makes me like it. And it's like a fashion NFT kind of thing. And then it seems very, I don't know. It's cool, but I really like this one as a potential Hail Mary down the road. Like in the height of a bull market, this thing could be, I mean, it could at least be back to, the highs, which is 2,200 bucks. So, pretty good move. So there's another one, man, there's just tons of them. I could talk about these forever. And then let's see, I already talked about Ghost and Mona and IOs is too late to buy. This one I just started on too, though. So this one and SPA are like sort of my newer ones this week that I've been buying. And this one you can see has a W. So this one confirmed the weekly W with OBV divergence. This is ALCX. So, I mean, from a technical perspective, hopefully, look at the, I don't know what's going on from the open. It's obviously this is cracking. Maybe I could look at it, Binance, and see something a little better. Not really, but you can see the upside anyway. The W's in down here like 15 bucks, and there's a lot of upside. 150 bucks is just sitting like right up here against that high, basically. And this is another one that's a sort of a smaller market cap kind of thing. It's 30 million. And then this one is also, this one I was confusing earlier, 2.2 million coins out. So super low supply and relatively low market cap, small market cap. And maybe we can look at all the history here real quick on, and like, I mean, I don't know what's been going on with this thing. I mean, since 2022, well, since May of, I guess, I mean, that wasn't that long ago, but it's just kind of been, bumping along the bottom forever here. And the old highs are up at 1,800 bucks. So anyway, that's another one that looks interesting to me. And I started nibbling on it. And so those are like a handful of like sort of smaller ones. These ones are also in that category, but I've talked about Earn a lot. It's pulling back, as a matter of fact, though, if people were, they started to break it out here this week, and now they've just checked that W again. So that was one of the ones I've already talked about. It's another like 30 million market cap one about, I think, that I'm definitely interested in. And then these other ones are like too far gone, like Tara. Not sure what's going on with Tara there, but can't do anything. And then Nexa is another one I added that's just not really setting up yet. I mean, it did pop off pretty good, but I don't know anything about this. I think it was one of Carol's names. I just added it, or somebody said something and I just threw it in there. I haven't looked at it again. So anyway, I just went through a ton of names. I have a bunch more requests. I suppose it's already been 55 minutes, so I'm probably gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Um, but I guess I could check in with the chat if anybody in the chat has something specifically I want to look at. I'm happy to do that. And DMAC was saying example MDR. Is MDR something we got a double on that we didn't book in the spreadsheet? I don't know what MDR is. That doesn't sound... Do you mean Maker? Because we got our double on Maker. Actually, the plan caught like the bottom of Maker. I'm pretty sure the Road to Financial Freedom we bought, you know, that's like a pretty sick classic FU low there that I'm pretty sure Paul bought that there for the plan. Of course, I somehow missed, well, I didn't somehow miss Maker. It never really set up for me back here with the real W. And then I didn't, you know, I just wasn't paying attention to any dips in here and didn't have it on my radar. But this is one that's obviously just been kind of generally strong here lately for quite a while now. It's not really pulling back at all. But maybe I'll look at a couple of the requests I have from David and then we can just, it's just a couple anyway, and then I'll call it. Looks like these are some smaller coin count ones like FIS. Oh, damn it. FIS. That's a nice W. Wow, nice OBV. Yeah, I mean, this one's perfect. This is like exactly the kind of stuff I'm looking for right now. You know, pulled back against the old lows. It's below probably 88.6 even right here. Suppose we take our fibs from there. Well, not quite. 70. It's sitting at 78.6. It tested 88.6. Now, I don't know if the W fully confirmed with the nice candle body close. It kind of ran out of steam there last week a little bit. Didn't quite get above those highs there. But still confirmed W in my opinion, just not a candle body close just yet. But who knows? Maybe by the end of this week, this thing will turn green again and give that close. Either way, like I couldn't fault anybody for buying. You can see how the W is 78.6. That's always a good sign. Like basically 78.6 became the W breakout level, which is exactly what you'd want to see. So, I mean, it just becomes a question of how cheap you want to be because the setup is in my opinion. I mean, OBV has been trending higher hard, but it's also in divergence right here. That's a nice nice OBV W right there as price made new lows. So, perfect. I don't know if this one can be on my crypto radar, but perfect chart. So, David, I think you probably get this game in general. I don't know anything about the coin, but just looking at the chart, I could easily see how this is a decent thing to take a shot on. I mean, who knows what's going to happen exactly, but that's a nice... like when I look at something like this, I wouldn't be surprised to see price up here somewhere down the road. So that's one. And then I guess the next one's 03. I'm not really sure what that is. Is it 03 or 03? Oh, it's this. On Bittrex. I think you said on Gate. So it must be this. Now this one doesn't look as in... Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I can see the W, so that's a good start. And I can see OBV trying to turn, but I wouldn't say there's any divergences or maybe not even really a W here. But you can kind of see the volume ramping up in here, and they're trying to turn it. This is just, you know, for sure tons of upside. That's a given. Wow. This looks like a grade A shit coin. You can see the little W in there, and I don't really like OBV. It seems, but like the problem with this is that it has been trending lower pretty hard. It hasn't like actually set a base yet. I mean, it's trying to now, but usually you would expect some sort of, you know, considerable bounce and a pullback and just start building more of a base. I don't think this counts as much because they did like V bottom it and then just take out the lows. So I think the trend is still very much down, but the W, there is a W, so it's like worth, you know, it's a tight risk window, I guess you could say. It's also just basically pulled right back against that W level. So I can't fault anybody for buying that. I don't think I can, this thing's not even on like Binance, so I definitely can't trade. I guess I could go buy it on PancakeSwap. So anyway, it's pretty cool. I like the last one better, FIS. I guess this one's only 1.3 million coins out, it looks like. I mean, it's a W. It's just a small, little, kind of tight W, and probably has to do more. Maybe this becomes a bigger W later, but not bad. A couple more real quick, because I see one I want to look at that's on here. FIDA's. God, if I could get paid for every time I like accidentally hit full screen, I don't know what I do on. There's two keys I always hit on this shit that either brings up the code window or that full screen. I think full screen's F11, right? So I must be hitting. Anyway, I meant to type FIDA. That's why I must have. Wow, look at this thing. Not my favorite. I mean, there is a sort of a weekly W working, so sure. And OBV is in a W, and there's nice volume coming in. So yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of like the ones that have that aren't making new lows. Kind of just I prefer the ones that have made a base and then taken off and then coming back down against the base or whatever. And like I like to buy right there, but that's just me. I like to buy that reload zone there. And I don't really see that here. I mean, they ripped it up. It'd have been nice if they would have held the lows here, and W'd there. But instead, they just, took it to new lows. So it's still kind of like in the downtrend, But it did just carve out a little W, and it is checking that level. And so, like, I wouldn't fault anybody for taking a shot there. So yeah, I mean that one could be a promising one. I mean, what's going on with these like on here really quick? Bonafide. Is that what this is? Bonafide? Bonfida? 21 million market cap. So yeah, I do like these like shit coins, the low market cap ones. I do want to have a handful of them. This thing has like 1 billion coins out, which is, I don't know. I almost feel like the market cap's more important than the coin count, but the nice low supply is nice because I mean, if it's a really low supply, then it's just easier to pump because there's probably whales that are holding large percentages of it, and they're not going to sell the bottom most likely. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And then the last one I wanted to look at because it reminds me of a friend who loves this. This is Gods Unchained, right? Yeah. Fuck, I forgot about this one. I want to buy this. I don't know what the chart looks like, but well, damn. Yeah, I have a friend that's been involved in Gods Unchained for a while, way before it was even like a actual coin that you could trade, like the last several years. But he loves this game. And what I see is a W with OBV. Yeah, divergence. The divergence is wider here though. It's all the way back to here. So, but generally just trending higher. So the strong OBV, that's all I really want to see, and nice W's here. And even like more recently, it's still Wing out, and now we have W in price. It's just a little chasey up at the breakout levels way up here. So it is sitting at the breakout level, but it's a little bit chasey there, I'd say. So maybe I'd be more interested in just kind of hunting lower prices like 17 cents here, which is Mountain Man and below. But the W's in, and it looks good, and has a lot of upside. Geez. I mean, enough. It's 23 cents, so double's not really very. It's like a blip on the screen, and then there's plenty of upside. I mean, all of these have like 10x potentials at least, on them, and maybe way higher. I like to keep thinking conservatively, just back to 38.2s. Which, if you did that with this, I mean, 38.2 is going to be way up there, like 350 or so from 11 cents. Is that, or it's 23 cents? 23 cents up to 350. So, pretty, that's plenty of a bull market for us all to do well. All right. And then I guess there's a couple of questions that I had. I'll answer those and then call it a day. If nobody's really thrown anything into the room, any requests, but, let's see. Is your stable allocation based around halving date? Will you be 100% exposed for this plan at one point in time? Well, I mean, Hmm. Well, first of all, I guess I should say that I don't like time-based planning in trading. Anytime you try to like have a time plan, you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion, because we don't have any control over this shit. So it's like that's what I don't really like when I hear people say like, "Oh, I want to, you know, double my account in 30 days or whatever." Any time, any sort of, or how long should an average trade, like how long should it take before you get a double or any kind of time. It's not my favorite. I like to just sort of know that it will happen when it happens, and I can't control time. All I can control is levels I buy and setups I follow, and so I'm not really like thinking of it around like time. But I will say that my entire, I mean, I'm basically it's I'm not like a have Bitcoin having shill, but I do believe that the 4 year, I'm a believer of the 4 year cycle in general. So I do believe that, all year I've thought that, we're going to base before the halvening and then, hopefully rally into the halvening or at least rally after it. And even if it's not like to new highs or anything, like, I mean, and I don't know where Bitcoin's going to go right here specifically, but like I do expect, I'm thinking there'll be higher Bitcoin prices after the halving. So I guess in that sort of sense, like part of that question is, am I allocating based around the halving date? So I guess in a way it's like, yeah, I'm more, I would just, like I said, all the beginning of the show right now is like the sweet spot for buying if you're thinking that the halving will produce the similar kind of thing that's happened the last two cycles, which for me is, I do think it'll be similar. I don't know if it's going to be like as good or, or whatever, or bigger or new highs or, so yeah, I'm trying to base my allocation off getting, I mean, I tried to say this over the last year, like I'd get more bullish as I saw more weekly W's, and now I'm starting to see more weekly W's. And so I'm starting to get more bullish, and I've also, I'm very patient and conservative. And so I nibble my way in, and I try to keep plenty of dry powder so that I don't run out too early. These are the things that's kind of how, I don't know, I can't set an exact time on it, but I'm getting more aggressive in my willingness to buy altcoins. Let's put it that way. And that's why, even this show, that's the whole point of this show today, was just like, can we buy any of these pullbacks? And I'm starting to see signs that there's no real reason to not think that we're getting kind of towards the end of even the accumulation part, and we might actually even head into like the sort of uptrend soon. And by soon, I mean a year. I don't know. It could be next year. I don't know. I'm not saying today, but like we're getting way closer in altcoins, that is. I mean, Bitcoin clearly is already likely bottomed and is, probably at least in a range, with, I'm not really thinking of Bitcoin going to new lows anymore. If I haven't really been anywhere in here. I mean, maybe we dip deeper, but I'm not really thinking about like less than 15K Bitcoin anymore. I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like the bottom is in. And so anyway, so let's see. And then you're asking about my allocation around, so everything's sort of based on the halving. Yeah. And then you asked if I'd be 100% exposed at any point. I don't know, actually, because I'm not putting like, I'll just keep buying. And I mean, I'm trying to leave plenty of room and hopefully even add capital to, if I'm more excited, like, or if I can make money trading elsewhere and throw it in the pot for, so it's not my style to really put like I'm just going to put it, keep buying and probably not get to 100%, I guess would be the right answer. I don't really think of it that way. It probably won't even get to full 100% allocated. We'll see. But I don't have like a set number. I just kind of am plugging away, nibbling and nibbling and nibbling. But I go slow. I don't like even like, I'll never buy a whole 1% in one particular buy. And that's me. I'm like more, I'd say I'm more conservative. I'm not like aggressive. Like if you're trying to get rich quick, it's probably not like listening. I'm not as like, I'm not trying to become a billionaire really. I don't know how to say it other than that. I'd like to be, I'm just sort of doing my little thing and not really worried about being like, so it's like I can just sort of ease my way into this, and I'm not trying to like be the next Ray Dalio or some shit. I don't know. So maybe that was a shitty. The best answer to that question is I don't set a time on any of this, but I do think the halving is the thesis. It's like I'm basing my whole thesis, this whole accumulation year kind of bottoming cycle phase is all based on the fact that the halving is next year in, whenever that is, April or May. So I'll just keep on keeping on, but like I get more aggressive the more W's I see. So I went the last rally in like the first quarter of the year, I banged out quite a lot of doubles actually, but I wasn't really particularly aggressive. It was just sort of like, well, yeah, it's probably dead cat bounce, good time to be getting long, but I wasn't thinking that was the end of the bear market or like the end of the accumulation phase. And now here we are at the end of the year. And like, I think it's the best time to, like, that's why I said earlier, just this is the time to, it's like if you made it all year, then you finally made it to the place where the odds of succeeding are getting better and better every day, I'd say, like as these bottoms come in more solid. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like I'm never that good at answering these kind of questions. Is there a deadline for you to stop investing? Well, that's kind of the same. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, is there a deadline to stop? There is. It's when I die. You got to take these crypto coins out of my cold, dead hands. I'll stop when I'm dead. No, I don't know. I don't really have a time on any of this, like I said. And then, but you did ask, what if some shitcoin hasn't rallied near the end of the bull run, but has your setup? I don't know. Setups are setups. You should be taking them, I suppose, if they're. But that's the thing is, I was thinking about this question right before when I read it. It's like usually the whole market, if I don't know, like if like the euphoria is in and like everybody's all fucking, this kind of action up here, with the way people were acting here, saying Bitcoin had to go to 100. There's no way nothing's going to stop it ever. Like at this point in the cycle, there wasn't that many altcoins that were setting up with weekly W's. Probably none, really. I mean, if there were, I'm not going to be that excited, but I'd probably still take shots on them. But if they hadn't rallied by the time, or even, the whole market's going to lift at the same time. So there's probably not going to be, that's why it's important to pay attention now, because it'll be too late by the time everything breaks out. So that question's kind of weird. There probably won't be that many setups setting up on weekly charts by then. Like if we're in a bull, I guess is how I'd say that. Anyway, hopefully those answers were anything remotely kind of like what you were looking for, but I do stick about that time thing. I think it's dangerous to put a time limit on anything in trading. I think that's tricky. I mean, you could do things like, I'm going to trade a $100 challenge, and you use your capital to govern how long you can trade. Not really like, it's hard to if you're going to be like, I'm going to do a $100 challenge and double my account in a week. That's not or 2 weeks or a month or whatever the time, like setting a time limit on yourself is probably that's not really a good way to look at it. And then with investing, it's kind of hard too, because I mean, we're talking about like, who knows what could happen? Geez, we have no idea what could happen. Like maybe aliens come and nuke us all. All we can really do is like buy W's or buy whatever it is that that needs, whatever has to happen for you to act. You have to figure that out, but that's all we can do. We can't really think that we can have any sort of idea of the timing. I mean, we can say things like, "Oh fuck, I'm always wrong anyway." When that's what's funny is you say too much, you just end up being wrong. So it's more like I do think the end of the year is a time where prices often grind down, just like last year. And so, I like sayings like "buy when it snows." So that the timing is in our favor right now. We just have to kind of be ready. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to be some sort of crypto cheerleader. I don't know why I feel I'm not trying to talk everybody else into believing it, but I do kind of want people to, I want you to do well. If you're taking the time to listen to this now, I hope that you end up doing well. It's just, this is a good time to be investing. And then there's always the chance that maybe something doesn't work, or maybe crypto's dead now after this, or maybe we never see a bull run Again, we don't know that. We just can only take our shot here when like the charts tell us to, and they're certainly, I mean, they're telling us to at least pay attention, I'd say. I think the caveat is just what happens with Bitcoin here. Like, does this thing kind of just go sideways, hopefully, or do we have some dump that will really drag altcoins down and kill these W's? I don't know. Maybe that makes sense. What can I say though? It's a good time to be taking a shot, and ironically, can't say that about the stock market or anything. I don't really see the same kind of opportunities in stocks right now. I think there's a much better chance of some sort of crypto rally. So we'll see. But anyway, probably call it there and just quit while I'm ahead. I'm at an hour and 16 minutes. Otherwise, if I start talking about something else, I'll go on for another half an hour. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful to anybody. Of course, I appreciate the request, David, and your charts usually look pretty solid. So hopefully you're working your plan, and I know you're consistent, which is a huge part of this. You're always around, which I appreciate. Same with like some of the other people, DMAC and, well, geez, pretty much all the people that have been commenting are all kind of more diehards that are around for a lot of our content. So thanks for that. And, we're just, we're just doing our best to sort of just kind of build out a trading community that's like relatively level-headed. Damn, I know Paul certainly is very level-headed. I think maybe I'm a little more loosey-goosey than Paul, but I think I'm consistent, and I show up every day and I do what I say I'm going to do and don't fuck around. And so hopefully we're at least, showing that part of what it takes to be trading, a trader. And that's kind of the point of our community, is to try to build up a group of people that all kind of act like professionals in the market. And I mean, I got to say the VIP guys and Paul and Stefan, just trading all the time, just taking many trades a day, which you just don't really see. I don't really see that kind of consistency on a daily basis from that many people. So good job for that. These guys are like sharks, man. They're just like destroying crypto on the lower time frames these days. I've been more focused, I like to day trade the Russell 2000, and I just stick to my one chart and I just try to scalp that shit, and that works for me. And I don't really quite have access to the lower time frame crypto stuff as easily. But if if you want to do that kind of thing, I don't know of a better place to come and trade with people that are just daily killing it there. You can ask Paul next time how many 10-1 plus trades he's had in the last couple months. Shit. So that's what we're doing. So of course, this show, I'm just kind of babbling on about like more zoomed out kind of this sort of just basically trying to continue the conversation about buying altcoins for the next cycle. And then we do that on Sundays too, a little bit more structured with the sort of larger market cap coins for that other plan, the Road to Financial Freedom. So that's Paul and I every Sunday, and he kind of works that plan. I'm just the color commentary, I guess. I'm the humor. But we thumb through the charts, and every week we pick whatever the next 5 are on the list. And DMAC, I'll check with them about the potential doubles we haven't logged. Make sure that we're getting our sells off, because, of course, you got to have your orders working. I goobered a trade recently where I didn't have my double working, and they're not going to be kind enough to give me a fill just yet, so I'll have to wait. So it's always a reminder that if you are going to do this kind of trading, and if you are going to sell halves on doubles, you got to keep your orders working. Otherwise you'll miss your chance, just like I did on this AGLD. Where do I have that drawn? I guess it's probably on Coinbase. Yeah, like you could see right there, I should have been selling here on my second car. I had the opportunity to get a double on my reload here, and I didn't. So the perfect example of how you can't slip up like that if you want to catch these, because obviously they've just now, a month later, I still haven't gotten back up there, and they're probably going to bring it back down to my buy levels before But by the way, this AGLD is one that I've been pretty kind of hyped on for a while, and I like this one a lot as it comes back down. It's been pretty strong. So yeah, keep your orders working. I'll double check DMAC on the other spreadsheet. I'll be back on Sunday with Paul on Tuesdays, every Tuesday this time also. And then if you want to join our Discord, you can go to cryptotradersarena.com and get a link to our Discord and jump in our free room and just check out more of what we're about. And of course, we do have our Capio 1 training program sort of entry or waiting list kind of building right now. We'll be starting in January most likely. And basically just continuing the same deal as last time, which is it's $990, and it basically is a year membership to our community as a premium member. And then there's a 4-month course at the beginning where Paul and I are just going to show you how to do this for the first 3 months. And then, then there's, another full month of just solid trading, but then really 8 more months of just being a premium member and just sort of jumping in and getting to your craft, figuring out what trading works for you and get executing in the market. So it's kind of a year-long commitment. And then also, I think we also added, if you want to book a one-on-one with me for $100, we'll add that $100 to, take it off of the school if you decide to take the school. So if you do just want to sit with me for a little bit and kind of work out a good path for you, I like to help people sort of minimize the rabbit holes or minimize the going down the wrong paths with learning. So I might, maybe the school isn't even really what you're looking to do, but maybe I can just help you just kind of make sure your learning is on the right track so that you're not wasting any time, because that can be a problem. I think that was a problem for me learning to trade too. Actually, I kind of went down too many rabbit holes and kind of overcomplicated it for a while. And so if anything, I'd just be trying to help people not do that and just kind of keep it simple. Because at the end of the day, it really comes down to execution anyway. It almost doesn't even, whatever setup you find that works for you is fine. It doesn't, you could trade whatever setup you like, but if you can't execute it, then it's going to be hard. So it's not really about learning secret tools or learning hidden information, or definitely not about learning to outsmart the market. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, can you build a lifestyle? It's almost more of like a lifestyle than a job. Can you build out a lifestyle that sort of works for you inside of trading? It allows you to be able to execute these trades without losing your head and letting it get the best of you. So I guess that's where we hope to, I don't know when it comes to teaching people to trade, that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, can I just help them get into the right path so that they don't go down the wrong ones? Because there's just a lot of wrong turns, I suppose, you could take. So if you're interested in that, you could always book one-on-one with me. I think that's about my whole sales pitch. I'm not really trying to shill it. It's just more like, can we build out a solid community of traders? And one way to do that is just start teaching people. And that's kind of fun too. I don't know. It's fun to do this. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. And the point is, that's over the next couple of months. You can basically, if you pay before the end of the year, you get that deal. Otherwise, probably will be some changes made next year in terms of the way we do it and probably the pricing and all that stuff. So it's a little unknown where we're going to go with that exactly, but we continue to just build out. I think we're about 1.5 years or so plus in this community, maybe a little longer. And I don't know, it's going pretty well. So thanks everybody that's taken part. And I suppose that's enough of me rambling. So I will just bid you all adieu and say have a good evening. I know most of you guys are probably in Europe. So have a good night. And maybe if you're in North America, join our group so that I can hang out with people because it's only the afternoon for me right now. But I'll talk to y'all soon. So take care, everyone. See y'all in New York session, perhaps, if you're a premium member. And otherwise, on Sunday will be next time I'm back on YouTube. So take care, and I will see y'all later. Bye-bye.